Yeah, this has to go. And this is all in my way. Hello everybody and welcome. I am back at the track switcher to try and make it work. I've cleared everything out I had done before because it was getting too messy and I wasn't even halfway done. So now I have to redo it all, but this time I'll put some more thought into it. I just may need to space things further apart. This input stays the same, I need to keep that separated. First, let's just hook it up to the power track that will send the cart off. That is strange. These buttons all work except for this one. For some reason there seems to be a leak somewhere. It should have a delay with this repeater here, but it doesn't, it just powers the track as soon as I hit the button. Now that works fine, so there's no problem with the circuit back here. Oh, of course, I get it. This button is right next to the track here, so that powers it directly. I'll have to move this entire thing back one block. And have the sloped track here. Now that button doesn't directly power the track anymore. And then, of course, this block needs to go back one as well. Let's see if that works properly now. Yeah, that's exactly right. And while I'm here, let's label all these buttons. First one will switch the track to the desert, second button goes straight ahead to the jungle, and there will be another switcher to Creeper Mine, and the third button will take me to the village. Now I'll need to fix the tracks on these others as well. And down here I need to have my RS-NOR latches back. I hope you still remember how they work since last episode. And that powers the track switching torch here. Then this also gets connected to its own RS-NOR latch. And what I'm going to do, I'll have wires going straight under all this. Those will be the inputs on the RS-NOR latches. That should be easier to hook up to the buttons. I can connect to the latch at any point, rather than trying to get 8 wires going into one block. That's starting to look good. Let's dig another trench like that. And place some wires. Connect those to the RS-NOR latch here. Whoa! Oh no, creeper! Ah! Well, let's get some spare stuff. This diamond sword. And I have armor in here. And I took some gravel so I can go down in that ravine. Back here it is. That'll do. Well, there's my stuff. Luckily it didn't blow up. And I don't see any creepers now, so that is good. Quickly get my stuff. Anything else here? Okay, well, I think I've got everything back. So let's get out of here. I just need to be careful when working up there, not to fall down again. Put a new floor in. And this is the new plan. I'm using wool to mark the RS-NOR latch inputs, so I can more easily connect my buttons. Next input is here, so that's a different color. And I bring that down to under the red input. Which switches the track from the desert to the farm. And the yellow input then switches from the desert to the jungle. So let's label that as well. Now the other RS-NOR latch gets 2 colors too. And once that's done, I can start connecting the buttons. I want the separated signals to come down and keep them 3 blocks apart. So like this. And the third button needs more space here. So that there's also 3 blocks in between. Having them 3 blocks apart means I can put another wire in between if I need to. That's cleaner than trying to bridge or tunnel input wires when there's not really enough space to do so. That's what I had before, and that didn't really work well. So anyway, I have these buttons hooked up to the launcher track again. Then I can do the same with the 3 buttons next to the village track. Next 3 buttons on the straight track again, but now coming from the jungle. Wiring them up here. Repeater to keep the signal separated. And keep 3 blocks in between. And finally, connecting them to the track launcher torch. It's a signal I need to invert once here. So the torch on the end is off by default. And then that also works. And lastly, connecting the 3 buttons on the desert track to their launcher. Of course, here too, keeping them 3 blocks apart. That connected to the launcher torch also needs to be inverted. Well, with all that done, I now only need to connect each button to the proper RS NOR latch inputs. I will spare you the details on that for now. Although it looks very complicated, it's actually quite simple. Just connect to whichever way you want the tracks to switch. Making sure the wires aren't longer than 15 blocks and put repeaters where needed. And the hardest part actually is finding the best path for each wire. You want to keep them as short as possible, but you need to keep in mind you're going to have to connect a lot more buttons later as well. So that isn't working completely right yet. And that's because I changed this wire but forgot to check its length. So now the first 3 buttons should work. Yeah, that switched both tracks. And that one switched them too. So that's 3 buttons done, on to the next 3. Actually, now I think about this, a lot of the buttons switch the tracks in the same direction. So I don't have to wire each button individually to each input. There's only 2 tracks to be switched, so there's no more than 4 possible combinations. Both on, both off, and either of them on. I might need to give that some more thought, and maybe then it's an idea if I make a tutorial about that. Well, if you're interested in that, stay tuned, but I think it won't be until the new update comes out. There might also be some improvements to be made in this circuit with locked repeaters. So anyway, this is going pretty well. I'm wiring up all the buttons to the inputs. I do still need to have some wires going through tunnels, but it's not getting messy or anything. I've got enough space to work with now. And here's a good example of why the 3 blocks distance is a good idea. I can dig a stairway going down in between and no signals will be mixed. I do still need to be careful with that ravine though. So that works fine, just need some repeaters. And that wire is too long now, so I need that repeater here. And one more wire here. And let's put that torch back. And one more tunnel here. Probably could use some repeaters, but that should be the last. This now works hopefully. Yeah, that's correct. So now the whole track switcher system is done and working as intended. Let's close off that entrance, so now that's maintenance only. And just to show once more how it works, suppose I'm in that cart, I've just visited the village, and I want to go to the desert. Well, the cart would need to turn that way and then that way to get there, but both of these tracks are switched the wrong way. That's no problem at all now. When I push the button to take me to the desert, the tracks automatically switch and the cart is sent off. Of course, when there's a player in that cart, it doesn't go so slow. Now all I need to do is finish the tracks so they actually go somewhere, Right now I can only go back to the farmhouse. So the other tracks will have to wait, because that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed. And stay tuned for that tutorial I'll make for this in the near future. Maybe another regular episode comes out first. Either way, I'll see you again next time.